welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 470. This show is brought to you by Primary Arms, VZ Grips, and Walker Defense. In this show, we'll be discussing some 380s, a top-tier 17 HMR, a super affordable 4-16, and some more dessert, because we all need dessert. As you may know, we showcase guns, gear, and anything else you may be interested in. We do our best to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm Chad Wallace, and with me tonight, again, we have Tony and Rusty. We're pretty sure Rob died, but that's never stopped him from coming back from the dead before. So, first up is Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to provide you the best shopping experience for everything firearms. With over 13,000 products, it's probably up to like 15,000 now, but who knows. From your favorite brands, Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearm parts, and shooting gear. Every order comes with a commitment to superior service, fast shipping, and an expert support team. Now, our Primary Arms product of the week this week is a T-Zane, because it's the Foxtrot Mike 3-inch 9mm upper receiver. Yeah. And he always was like, no, need it. It's like $300 or something. I threw it in here. I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh, this is throwback to something Zane would build. I think his is a 4-inch, but you know how he exaggerates. So.
Nice. It's caliber pistol. It's caliber pistol.
That's right. So you can sign up for Primary Arms newsletter and more by going to frn.deal/PA. If you use the code FRN at Primary Arms, you will get you buy a GLX 1-6 and you get a free mount. You can also check firearmsradio.net/PA for the latest deals. So, what did you guys do in firearms this week?
I did nothing.
Well, that's because you worked like 4,000 hours or something, Rusty.
Well, I carried.
That counts.
I didn't shoot anything, but I carried a lot.
Well,
that's a good thing, seeing as you was at work.
Yeah.
You were at work the whole time, so thank goodness you didn't shoot nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony?
I practiced for the police shooting league competition that we're going to have this weekend. So I took the Ruger SR22 to recoil range and ran a couple hundred. I ran a couple hundred rounds through it, but I was being really cheap. So I had a target from before. I had some B8 targets. If you don't know, B8 is the 8-inch circle. So I just got some stickers. I stuck them on, and I stuck the B8 target on my regular target using just little stickers and some crappy tape. And I shot from 5 to 25 yards. All right, now I'm going to do my second run, and I just stuck some more stickers on it. I ran it out. I wanted to start at 15 and work to 25. That was the only area I was going to work in to try to just bring those groups down. First shot out, hit the target. The tape gives way and the target just falls on the floor to the 15-yard line. I'm like, well, I'm done.
Sounds.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so lesson to everybody out there: don't be cheap like Tony.
No, just buy the $1 target. I'm like, oh, I already got it. I'll just walk out there and hang it up and just throw this on. Because, you have a whole target because you want the target to be big enough. So if you're shooting close and you're shooting at the bottom, you're not skipping rounds off the floor.
Yeah.
And you don't want it high enough that you may be aiming up and you're hitting the beam in the back. So you center it up. It's like, hey, Chief, all you had to do.
That's what happens when you're free 99.
Hey, man, listen. When you're tactically thrifty, sometimes there's a price to be paid when you get too tactically thrifty.
And now we know the price.
I didn't know the Goodwill sold targets.
Wait a minute, Goodwill sells targets?
I guess so. Yeah, I didn't really do much. I did, however, get in this new shot timer from MDT. It's able to do dry fire. It's got a sensitivity adjustment. I'm not going to turn it on, but it also comes with a belt clip and a magnetic thing, so it sticks to the belt clip or a lanyard. It'll get a review in a few months, so you can all check it out there. But I didn't really do much else in guns, so I guess that moves us on to our announcements. Bandwidth sponsor, you know who it is. It's Patriot Patch Co. Of course, you need to check them out and check out the Patch of the Month Club. Of course, I got mine. It's Will Trade for Eggs. This is the sticker. It's pretty cool. It's got a bunch of ammo and smoke and, a claymore and various other things on it. So it's pretty cool. Definitely go check out both of those. They're pretty cool. You can get all kinds of stuff over there. You can also get our t-shirts through the FRN site or the merch tab. So, of course, go do that if you want a Kilt in the Street shirt or a Gun and Gear Review podcast shirt. Affiliates / discounts, show notes, or I think most of them are on the also YouTube video. So check them out. They're also on the firearmsinsider.tv. So you can check them out there. I won't read them all. And we'll see what kind of impersonation Tony can do for us today.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts, not the reflection of the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. This is not legal advice, nor should it be considered as such. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And our product spotlight is sponsored by VZ Grips.
Keep going.
Do I do it or do who does that part? Me?
I think Rusty's our VZ ad reader. So
VZ Grips has been manufacturing handgun grips since 2003. You know that, right?
I do now.
With a reputation for quality, consistency, and innovation, top-tier manufacturers choose VZ Grips. They come in a variety of styles, patterns, colors, and manufactured from proprietary G10, micarta, carbon fiber, or polymer. Available with varying degree of texture, VZ offers a wide range of grips for all different firearm types. Made in the USA, VZ Grips gives you the grips you can count on. Featured grip of the week is the AR-15 VZ Hydra Gen 2. Look at there. That thing will eat your hand off. I had that in my hand at SHOT Show.
And
we were over there with that, and that thing is that's a pine cone.
And
that's a freaking pine cone.
The thing is this isn't their most aggressive. The stipple one is. But this one is in the, coyote or whatever color they classify it as, but basically it's FDE or
No. See, hold on. Let me tell you what. No. I'm thinking about, because people are like, oh yeah, if you're sweaty. Mm-hmm. How about if you're freaking cold? That ain't cool, dude.
Put that on a 458 SOCOM, and let's see how much hamburger meat you can leave on it in the wintertime.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, the actual color is hyena brown, but we can go.
It's a cool grip. I really like that. I'd like to have it on my 22 AR that I built because I think it would be really good. In the sweating in the summertime. Early fall. I think it'd be a really good grip.
That's the hamburger grip.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just look. I mean, if you're running gloves, maybe.
Yeah, they're not.
And it's not going to allow your glove to slip off, maybe. I don't know, man. I mean, because I grabbed that sucker and I'm like, it's like a bet, bro.
It's to each their own. So I guess we can finish this out with, you can check VZ Grips out at vzgrips.com. Coupon code is GGR15, and that'll get you 15% off handgun and rifle grips at vzgrips.com.
Hey, maybe they should send me one and we can put it on something out here because they do look cool.
The thing is it's more aggressive than I had. The particular Hydra one is more aggressive than I remembered feeling it at SHOT Show. And like I said, I have the stipple one, which is their most aggressive. And it's not as bad as that, but you can definitely feel it. Your hand's not going anywhere with that thing.
Yeah, and truthfully, checking it out. I mean, to be fair to the company, it wasn't on a rifle, and we weren't shooting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there was no other stimuli. There was no chance to run it to see how. So you're just grabbing this thing.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd like to check it out, put it on something and see if I can run it. But yeah, a 450 Bushmaster, that's going to make you change.
No.
Yeah.
9mm, 5.56, 300 blackout, something like that. Fine. I'd still run it probably on a 308 or 6.5, something like that. But you get into some of those thumpers, and I think I'd even shy away from it then. Give me a standard good old A2 grip, and that'll work great on your 458 SOCOM.
Yeah. I want a little give in there.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have a main topic tonight because I guess I didn't do a review. So
let's get into this new abomination we have.
Oh yeah, product spotlight and discussion. First up, the Glock 28.
Thank goodness this is out.
Oh yeah, MSRP is approximately $600. I mean, it's Glock, so you get it. This is a 380, so we're gonna say that it's Glock 26 size. So it's a subcompact ish. I mean, it's a Glock 26 and 380 essentially is what it is. So of course it has all their other stuff. Mag capacity is 10 rounds. It's got a 3.43 inch barrel, weighs 18.7 ounces, and 20.64 full. 24.16 with a loaded mag. Of course, standard trigger pull, 6.5 inches long. Let's see, 1.26 inches wide because it's that platform. Slide's only an inch wide. Height is 4.17 inches with the mag. So, you guys get the idea of what this is. You can get, looks like 12 round magazines and 15 and 17 round magazines. I don't know if they are available in the US for those, but I would assume that they probably will be. But yeah, that's basically, it's like a Talo exclusive or something. So for a while, they're the only ones you could get it from, but it doesn't really matter in that case. It essentially doesn't have a optics plate either. So at least from what I could find, so it's your base model Glock 28 now in 380. I saw this and I was like, I guess people who like Glocks are going to like it. The thing is I'm like, okay, but this is the world of somebody like Tony with large hands will probably like it better than he would like a SIG 365 because it'll, even though he can't get his pinky finger or whatever on it, the grip's larger, so it's going to fit his hand better. So I don't have a problem with him coming out. It would have been nice if they would have at least put their optics plate system on it. But, hey, it's a 380, Glock 380. People have been asking for it for years. I guess they figured out some way to get it here. And I would
building it here.
That's
that's the only way they could get it here.
Well, yeah. I don't know if if they're able to import slides and stuff like that. I really don't know.
They had to do the frame because if you look, it's got the thumb rest.
Yep.
That made it a target pistol.
Yeah, that and the finger grooves.
The finger grooves, yes. So you compare it to the 365 because they're calling it their pocket pistol. It's bigger all the way around compared to the 365.
It's like a 365 XL.
Yeah.
But wider.
And in the same capacity. I mean, because I carry the 365 9mm in a pocket holster probably 60% of the time. Lately, it's been 90% of the time. And it's 9mm, but 380 has plenty of punch. for up close personal work. I had no problem. I carried a Ruger LCP for a long time, and I have no problem with it. I think Glock is off on their price on it, but it's a Glock, so what can you say? I've carried 26s and 27s, and I think if it's in that same line as the thickness of those, it's just too fat for what I want it to have, what I want to do with it. You know, I mean, ankle or maybe inside the waistband, fine, but not in the pocket.
Yeah,
I would go with a 43X, in my opinion, or 42.
Yeah,
like that.
And
see,
that's still pretty big. It's just thinner.
For me, totally different. Because the 42 and 43, the 9mm, whichever one that is, I don't remember whether it's 42 or
43.
43.
Hurts my effing hand because it's so thin. It feels like I'm beating a tree with an aluminum baseball bat one-handed. That's what it feels like, with no cushion, just a raw baseball bat. So the very first time I shot one, I'm like, this is painful. And the same cop that had that, because we were at a competition, and we just brought out different guns and were shooting them for the heck of it afterwards. Actually, it was a class, and he had the 26. 26 was like day and night difference. And I'm like, this works for me. So, and I've shot the P365. I'm horrible with it. I'm horrible with the XL. It takes just a lot of concentration for me to be able to fire these things. So to me, this would work out well. It's already sold on the world market. I love the people that are going to have their opinion. I'm like, this thing's been sold for the last 20 years. Glock kind of knows what they're doing when it comes to selling Glocks.
Right.
Every now and again, they take the freaking crazy train and come up with something like the Glock 45 Gap. But outside of that, they know what they're doing when it's talk about moving units. So I think it's cool. Come up with the 19 Glock 19 size. What does that call it? Glock 25?
Yeah, I think that's it. Might be. I kind of wish they would too. I think that would be a bigger
I could
deal.
Get more behind.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. Get the Glock 25. Bring that out too. Because in my opinion, there are a lot of people out there. Because blowback is still snappy. And Glock is still Glock. So you have the Glock dependability, you got the Glock parts, you got all of that stuff out there, and you have a market for Glock. Because I'm sitting there thinking about my mom. What would she like? Because she's not going to practice. She's not going to get used to sweeping off safeties. She's not going to be used to recoil of a 9mm and a Glock 19 size gun, but she liked my Glock 19 with the size and the weight. You give her that in 380. Now my mom has, 17 rounds, I think, is in that thing? The bigger one?
15, I think, is flush fit, and 17's a +2.
So I'm liking this. I'm glad they have it. It's just another option in 380 world. It's a little bigger than some of the things, but some of us have big freaking hands. And I mean, as somebody that carried a 1911 concealed in a state where I couldn't carry, I think this thing can disappear on me if I was carrying it. So some bears are bigger than other bears.
That's exactly right. And it's a Glock, so people are going to buy it.
Yep.
So that was the Glock 28. Now, got something a little more impressive, I guess, than the Glock 28. It's the Volquartsen VF Oryx 17 HMR. Now, MSRP on this is $2,335, and you got to put in a couple quarters. So, now you have to remember that this is a Volquartsen, so it's a fine-made semi-auto rifle. That's part of the price. It is a chassis rifle, so there is that. And I will preface this with it's 17 HMR, and it's a semi-auto 17 HMR, and very few people make a very reliable 17 HMR. And from what I've heard, the Volquartsen ones are one of the ones that are reliable. So this thing has a snake fluted barrel, which is pretty cool. It also has a built-in comp in the barrel. Of course, it's CNC machine bolt, titanium round firing pin, tuned extractor, stuff like that. It's running their TG2000 trigger group, so you get a clean 2.25 pound trigger pull. Basically, it operates like a 1022, if that helps anybody out there. Of course, the Oryx chassis, which is from MDT, is the parent company of Oryx. So of course you get all of that. It's a one-piece integrated aluminum chassis. Buttstock can have spacers if you want for different lengths. And it's basically aircraft grade aluminum chassis. So it free floats the barrel. They say it's got a contoured forend grip, adjustable cheek riser, stuff like that. Let's see what other specs we got. Of course, the one in the show notes is black, weighs 9 pounds, 11 ounces. Magazine capacity is 9, and it uses the 7722 magazines. It is threaded half 28. Does have a pick rail on top of the receiver. Twister rate's 1 and 9, which is pretty standard for 17 HMR. The barrel length is 18.5 inches, but because of the muzzle brake, it's 20.5 inches, so it adds 2 inches to that. And it only comes with one magazine. That's, for this price, and it's a standard magazine, give me at least 3. 2, I might not say something about, but at least include 2. 3 is more like what you really need.
Can you imagine if Staccato sold you a $2,000 pistol with one mag?
Yeah, I could see Staccato doing that. But
you got a point. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this thing right here, you're not going to be hunting squirrels with it. But if you did, you could hunt squirrels from 125 to 150 yards away. This is probably your bench gun that for $2,300. But if you wanted a predator hunt with it, and you were a pelt guy for foxes or coyotes or something, or like out there where you have, like, what do you call them, sage rats?
Yeah, we shoot sage rats. They're a Belding ground squirrel, and they're
chucks or whatever.
They're like half the size of like your prairie dog. They're literally like 6 to 8 inches tall, and we shoot them with 17 HMRs, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This thing will buck the wind. You sit up on a table. You drag your trailer out there with a table mounted to a heavy table. You set up with a good bipod out there, or sandbag. And if you got the money to have a gun that'll do no recoil, shoot all day long, you drop a big optic on it so you can see wide field of view. You got your kids hooked. You're hooked. You can sit there and go, this is the best $2,000 I've spent right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't own a Volquartsen. I've shot a bunch of them, but this one's slick. It's no frills. It's pretty. The Oryx chassis is nice. It's nice and heavy, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's 9 pounds.
Yeah,
and it's man, these things are shooters all day long, and it's going to shoot quarters MOA groups.
Oh yeah,
out to 100 yards all day.
I mean, even my Savage. I have 117 HMR. It's a Savage bolt action bull barrel, and that thing, even with me at 100 yards, shoots sub MOA all day long, and that's just an off the shelf Savage.
Yeah, I think it's dead zero for that thing 100 yards.
Yeah, that's what I zero them at, and it's pretty much it'll drop a little at 200. I don't remember how much, but the thing's zipping pretty good and light bullet. As long as you don't have a big wind. And like you said, if you're hunting for pelts, they're really good for that because they just poke a little 170 thousandths hole and stuff. And
what I noticed with it, because I don't have 17 HMR, I don't hunt. But what I do is I watch videos from other people that use different things, especially because I always was interested in the 17 HMR. Well, they have a guy in England who does pest removal with rabbits. And what he does is he shoots them in England and then sells them to restaurants. So he gets paid by farmers to shoot the rabbits, and he gets paid by the restaurant to deliver the rabbits. So he's shooting tons of rabbits a week. I mean, just lots of hares. And what he noticed is with a 22 long rifle with a suppressor, he said, I don't know what it is, but sometimes rabbits will duck the round. He was like, they hear it go off because even if it's suppressed, you can still hear it. And he was like, somehow they will duck that thing. And you only get a couple of shots if I've hunted someplace heavily or, hunted it before, that all of a sudden they're all gone. He was like, but with 17 HMR, it's going so fast that it seems that the rabbits get hit by the time they hear the sound. There's no delay because there's a delay with the 22. The 17 HMR hits so fast, he was like, it seems the rabbits don't associate the noise they hear with a rabbit dropping. And he was like, I'm able to get like a half a dozen rabbits before they notice dudes just dropping around them and it's like time to go somewhere. And this is a dude that's getting paid to shoot him and getting paid to drop him off. So this is his money.
Right.
So for him, something like this makes sense. And if you're going to do something like that or you want to take some game, I mean, I never thought of that until I'm watching this dude and I'm watching him do it. And he shows the verses, 22 versus 17 HMR, and he's just cleaning them up. So that's one of the things, and I always thought it was cool because they had that, and then they have the, what do they call the one, 22 HMR?
The
17 HMR. One's with a 22 long rifles, and one with a 22 Magnum.
Yeah, the 22 WMR or whatever. Yeah. 22 mag. Like, they make the same rifle in a 22 mag. I was just like, but the 17 HMR is just so much more impressive in a semi-auto.
It's just wicked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I've been trying for 2 years now. I got a 17 Mach 2 barrel for a 1022 that was given to me. And I just have not put it together yet. And but I'm working on it. But I've just kind of delayed in doing it because I want to go with a HMR barrel instead of the Mach 2 because it's a smaller. The Mach 2 is a smaller case.
Yeah, it's a long rifle case neck down to 17 instead of a mag case. Yep. Right. But yeah,
Tony, I think what you're talking about with the 22 that's suppressed and everything, when that bullet gets under so far, I think it goes transonic. It's almost the speed of sound, and it, I think. And that they actually can hear that bullet coming through the air.
Because he was like, you watch a Matrix out of the way of the round sometime. So, it just makes a difference to this guy. And I mean, I don't know anybody else, but I just thought it was interesting. It's not like I went on a quest to see 22 versus 17 HMR.
No, you were probably looking up the RX 17 HMR Volkortzen. And ran across
rabbit it. Hole.
Yeah.
Fell down a rabbit hole.
Literal rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the Volkortzen's VF RX 17 HMR. So if you're looking at something like that, it's a high priced 17 HMR, but I feel it's worth it. I think the other guys are kind of on the same thing, depending on what you're doing with it. So next up, our friends over at Adaball have come out with some new inexpensive line of scopes. Basically, it's their Reaper line. Their selling point is they say you skip the middleman. So they have a 3-9 and a 4-16. I put the 4-16 by 44. It is second focal plane in the show notes. MSRP on this is $159.99. But if you use our discount code, it's $128. So you can get it down by saving 20%. This is like I said, they put a simple mil crosshair reticle in this, with like 1 mil and half mil hash marks. It is not illuminated. Of course, for this price, I get it. It is, I kind of like the reticle, but to each their own. I like simple mil reticles or MR reticles like that. I like this one because it does have a side parallax adjustment, so you can adjust it for, different ranges, seeing where the 3-9 doesn't because you don't typically need it. But with my aging eyes, the parallax adjustment helps actually. Of course, fully multi-coated. You can adjust that parallax down to 15 yards or meters, depending on, of course, the mill reticle, shockproof, fog-proof, waterproof. You get it all. It is 12.59 inches long, 44 millimeter objective. Eye relief is 4 inches. The field of view is 24.8 to 6.2 at 100 yards. It is a 1-inch tube size, so it's your standard old school 1-inch tube. Cap turret style clicks are 0.1 MRAD, and then so your elevation and windage max adjustments are 25 MRAD. It only weighs 17.5 ounces and is made from 6061 T6 aluminum. I thought it was kind of cool. You can get a, simple, cheap scope with a decent reticle and a decent power for pretty good price. They're out there. I like Adable treats us well. I like Jimmy over there. He's been on the show. So there you go. You guys can have at it.
I like it because it's got a nominal 1-inch scope too. That's one of the problems I have when I start buying scopes. I got to sit there and start finding what rings do I have, what scope, what size tube do I have, and then I remember when just about everything was a 1-inch, and now it's simple mill. I like how it's got the quarter hash marks on it. Not everything has to be illuminated. I mean, it wasn't until just a few years ago that I actually got something illuminated. Most of the time I'm hunting half hour before dark, half hour after dark, if I'm hunting. And I still got enough light. The scope still brings in enough light that I'm good. I'm not doing tactical thrifty stuff when I'm out, because 90% of the time, 99% of the time, I'm hunting. And so this would be a good scope to drop on a 22 or 17 HMR. And you're fantastic. You can call your wind and your distance and everything with it. And if you've got like a 10-22, you got a perfect scope to go in it right there, and you're not breaking the bank. The go along scopes are coming a long way. Prices are coming down. The more people we can get to make these scopes, the more people we can get interested into scoping rifles, buying guns, buying optics, and getting to the shooting industry and not having to pay an arm and a leg and taking a loan out to build one gun.
Yep. Tony?
No, I was looking at it as the same way, bringing people in. Just bringing people in. Before, the rule of thumb was you pay as much for the glass as you pay for the rifle. That's changing now. A good rule of thumb is pay as much for the glass as you pay for the rifle, but the quality of the glass has gone up so much that how much would this particular optic be 10 years ago or 5 years ago?
10 years ago, it still probably would have been a $500 optic.
Look at technology.
Yeah. So a lot of things have changed, but it's giving people an in that just wants to check something out. You just want to try out a new hobby, maybe because it's a 4x16, right?
Yeah.
So that's not far, but it's something like Precision 22.
That's 8 cups of coffee, man.
Like Precision 22, you want to check that out? You want to put this on top of your Volk-Kortzen that you dropped $2,000 on, or you want to put it on top of your Ruger 1022 that you put a little money in that you built. You can do it. There's ways to handle this. I think it's pretty cool, and it just opens stuff up to more people.
Yeah, that's good. Like that is cool. Which I think it's kind of, it's entry level, but entry level nowadays compared to what it used to be, like you said, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is way, way better. So Yeah.
Well, I think that entry level buys you more time now. That entry level gives you a longer time on the rifle. Before, dude, you'd get like the banner, I think,
Yeah.
or some entry level
Bushnell.
Nikon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bushnell or Nikon. And you know, within a few range trips, I have to upgrade this glass.
Right.
This, you
No.
can probably get some time on it, experience, and that'll make you. I think this may be a solid first purchase.
Yeah.
And the time you spend on this until you go, okay, this is what needs to be improved. I think it gives you a better educated second purchase. That next optic you buy is going to be even better. And you're going to know why, because you had a good first optic.
Yep. Yep. And then, you just take it off and put it on something else. That's what we always end up doing, it seems like. So that was the Edible Reaper 4-16. Next up, another 380. This is the Rock Island Armory LI 380. MSRP on this is $299. And this is not exactly a super new product for them, but I know we never featured it. And yes, it's a 380. It is a single stack, 8+1 capacity, double single action with a safety. It looks like the safety, of course, is on the slide, but hey, you kind of get what you get here. It's under their Baby Rock series, 3.55 inch barrel. Overall length is 6.5 inches. It's 1.19 inches wide, 6.53 inches tall, weighs 3.5 pounds. Does have fixed sights on dovetails, black anodized for some of it. Trigger pull, they say, is 4 to 6 pounds. And I can't remember what exactly this kind of resembles, but it's not a yeah, and it's not but what does the Bursa resemble? It's like
Walther PPK.
Yeah. So it's basically their copy-ish of this. It is a hammer fired gun, if that matters. Of course, no optics cut, at least for this price range. Unlike the Glock, I would expect it. But if you're looking for something like this, it's a Rock Island, so, it's probably not the best finish on it, but it probably goes bang every time you pull the trigger. I don't remember seeing how many magazines it comes with, but it probably comes with more than one. I just had to say that.
Nice.
But I don't hate it. I mean, for a mid-sized single stack 380, I mean, you guys know what the Walther size is, the Bursa size, so looks a little thinner than the Bursa to me, but maybe that's just they put thinner grips on it.
I like
it. They did.
I like it. I think, so I look at it this way. See, maybe you have the guys that carried the 1911, maybe a Commander series, and they're getting on up in the age, and they still like that style of gun, but maybe they're getting a little arthritis or something, and the weight's a little much for them. If they wanted to drop down, they still have that muscle memory. This would be the perfect gun for them. Or somebody that just wants a low recoil, no frills, budget gun that will fire. I have no problem with Rock Island. I've had several of their firearms, and they went bang every time. And I really like the look of it. I like that they bobbed the hammer on it, or put no, internal hammer, however you want to call it. And for the price, I mean, I'm all about budget stuff if it works. And I didn't see this at SHOT Show, but I've looked at some of their whatever this is, the Lightning series or Baby Rock series stuff. I kind of like this. I mean, it's just another replica of something else that's already out there. So, and you probably get it for $270,
if not cheaper. Yeah,
if not cheaper. Yeah. So, I mean, more power to them. It's 8 rounds. I mean, that's plenty of rounds to take care of business if you need to.
Well, I look at this. It's a Bursa. It's a Bursa 380. They put front end serrations on it, but that's the only difference. I freaking watch multiple videos over and over because I'm like, is this really a Versa? I really think it is. I don't know if this is made in Rock Island or they just put their name on it because they do that sometimes. And I have no problem with that. Again, entry level, hammer fired with a safety. I don't like the magazine disconnect, but it is what it is. I look at how much magazine is going to cost you because saving money on the gun is cool. But how many mags do you get with it, and how expensive is it to get new magazines? Because that has to be put in to the equation too. If your magazines are $35 and you can't find one, did you really save money on buying this $299 gun? I mean, it comes out of that. So check that out before you go with it, because I was watching their video, and John McClane said that this uses the Bursa mags.
So, yeah. I mean, even if they make it in their Philippines plant, it's a Bursa copy. So, that's nice that it uses Bursa mags, because at least you'll probably be able to find them and find them fairly cheap.
Now, my whole question is, I mean, truthfully, where does this fall in? Because I'm looking at the Smith & Wesson CSX, which is a 9mm, but again, magazines cost. It's a hammer fired. It has a horrible trigger. It has no track record. If this is a Bursa clone, or if this is just a Bursa with a different name on it, it has a track record as a decent budget price gun that you can get in on. So more power to them. Again, the more doors you can open, the more people you can get involved in firearms, the more people you can actually get to carry, the better it is.
Yep, that's it. So that was the Rock Island Armory LI 380. Now that we're almost to the end, it's time for dessert. And so Blade HQ has the Victorinox Desert Warrior Super Tinker Swiss Army knife. MSRP on this is only $39.99. It is a Swiss Army knife, of course. It's in their Desert Warrior pattern. So on one side of this, it has sprinkle scales, and on the other side, it says Blade HQ, and it's like caramel icing. So, but it's not, for what it is, it's not a bad Swiss Army knife. It weighs 2.3 ounces. It's got, a couple blades, screwdrivers, bottle openers, can openers, scissors, leather punch, a tool so you can gut your birds and a Phillips driver. It's just kind of one of their, styles. But we all know what a Swiss Army knife's like. It just happens to be, this one happens to be the Desert Warrior one, or Desert Warrior.
Desert Warrior.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, Swiss Army knives are cool to some sense. I mean, there are a lot of first knives for somebody, or if you, give this to the lady in your life to throw in her purse or something, so she has scissors and a knife if she needs it.
Swiss Army knives serve their purpose, dude. And this is a limited edition, right? Because that's how they handle it.
Yeah, that's how they handle
them. It doesn't cost any more than the regular Super Tinker. So why not? It's fun. It's fun. It's a cool gift item. It doesn't cost a bunch more than anything else. And if you want a Swiss Army knife, cool. I mean, I got a in my bag. I carry a multi-tool. Not a Swiss Army knife, but why not?
Yeah, I mean, really, if we go back, the Swiss Army knife was kind of the first multi-tool.
The only problem I have with them, and I've had I was buying them all the time. The scales would fall off of them. The handles would fall off of them. And that is the biggest issue I have with them. Because I was carrying one all the time. And I like it because it had the scissors. Right. And it had a little toothpick in there. And it had the tweezers and the scissors. I mean, they're very, very usable. But I was winding up having to glue the handles on. And I just got tired. I spent $30 every time I turned around buying one and having to fix the, what the dropped it a few times or whatever. But I mean, they make good products. They are what they are. But that was the biggest issue I had was the scales fell off of them. And I just got tired of buying them.
I got you.
So I just bought multi-tool that has scissors in them.
there
See,
you go.
I've never owned them. I've never owned a Swiss Army.
Well, now that you mention it, I've owned a few, and I do have. There is one that I remember the scales did fall off, or one of them did, and I had to glue it back on because I dropped it too many times or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you spend $30 3 or 4 different times, in a couple of years, you just kind of get burnt out on it. I mean, but they are what they are. I had it hanging on my keychain, a small one, hanging on the keychain. I was like, well, and then you beat it around a few times. You look down, it scales off of it. Or you had one, you leave it in your pocket, and it goes through the dryer, and you pull it out, and the scales off of it. And that's what happened to my last one here about 6 months ago. And I was like, I glued it on. A few months later, it fell off again. And I just said piss on it and threw it in a drawer. That's where it's been.
Yeah, but this one, I don't know if you're going to get as much use it as much, but who knows? So. That is the Victorinox Desert Warrior Super Tinker. And that is the last product of the night, which leads us to Walker Defense Research. And Walker Defense provides shooters with the finest, most innovative quality tactical accessories and firearm components around. From their Nile grip panels to the Nero muzzle brakes, no details are ever left behind. Only top quality materials are used in the manufacturing process. Together, all of this gives you some of the best firearm performance around. Everything they have to offer is proudly made in the USA. Walker Defense, where American ingenuity meets bleeding edge technology. And our Walker Defense product of the week this week is the Nero 9. So that's their Inconel 3D sintered 9mm muzzle brake. Looks like their other Neros. So that's there. If you might have noticed, if you're watching the video, I was drinking a beer earlier, and I did happen to use this little bottle opener from Walker Defense that they gave me a few years back because it was the bottle opener I found laying around here. But that's off. They sell them on the site, so if you want a bottle opener, great. You can visit Walker Defense Research at walkerdr.com. Use the code INSIDER15 for 15% off everything over there. Now, we don't have any listener feedback, so that leads us to Tony and some diversity shoots.
I got an announcement to make. We finally officially named the NRA ILA hosted 2A4E events that are going to be held in the Midwest, and it's called the Great Plains Diversity Shoot Expedition. So, can't wait to see you out there, and then it's the third week of May. That means the Great Plains Diversity Shoot Expedition. Because I was looking for a cool name that was better than just a Midwest tour. So that's what we're going with because we're in 3 states. We're going to be at Range 54 in Wichita, Kansas. And we're definitely going to be at Big Shots Range in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're looking for the range, or we haven't confirmed it in Oklahoma yet. And we probably have one more city in Kansas to do too. So that's what's happening with that tour. And I kind of like the name because it sounds like the grandiose, the Great Plains Diversity Shoot Expedition. Our next diversity shoot here in Jersey is on April 27th. Right now, if you go to my bio and into my social media, you can click on it and it takes you directly to the ticket sales. We're going to be at Union Hill Gun Club, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And again, you can go to the Simon Says Train on Instagram, Simon Says Train on Facebook. The second is for everyone on Facebook, or second for everyone on Twitter. And it's in my bio there. Click on it, purchase your ticket today. Really appreciate it. And we'll be doing some fundraising stuff too, because we have to pay for this trip. And it's going to be followed up immediately by me being at Train and Learn with Kevin Dixie on Memorial Day weekend. So we got a lot going on in May, and we have at least a diversity shoot going every 2 to 3 weeks. So if you can't get to one, I'll have the entire schedule for the year up on diversityshoot.com, and you can just pick out a date, set it up, and go on and buy your ticket eventually when those tickets become available. And all you have to do is click the link, and it'll take you directly to our Eventbrite page. And that's where you can follow me, too, on Eventbrite, and that way you get an email every time a ticket goes on sale. So that's what's going on with us. Thank you. This is year 8, this many, that I've been doing this show and telling you guys about diversity shoots. And now, if you've been there the whole time, you've watched us march across the country, man. So I think that's pretty cool. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for everybody who's been on the ride the whole time.
You know, you haven't made it to Hawaii yet, Tony. So you haven't gone across the country completely.
Oh, dude, can you imagine going to Hawaii?
There you go.
It's like, yeah, not bringing any guns. Whatever y'all got there is what we're going to use.
You're no kidding. So you can send us questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review somewhere. We appreciate it. You can check out all the other great shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.net. Don't forget to head over to the Firearms Insider at firearmsinsider.tv to check out reviews and all the links to everything that'll save you money. Also, please check out all our great sponsors that we have here. And thank you for listening to the largest pound for pound podcast on the network. And we are out.
Epstein didn't kill himself.